What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and today is PSA submission day. So you guys have heard me talk a ton over the last, 3 months about PSA and how I go about raw cards, and I collect them. I've shown you how I clean them. I show you how I get them ready for grading. We have gone through all that, and I'm gonna do some links at the very end to those videos. So if you want some more information, if you're new to the channel, maybe you missed those first videos, I am going to link them so you can go back and reference them if you want to. But at the end of the day, I have been buying and submitting cards to PSA for like 20 years. So I've been doing this for a really, really long time. I've recently been doing this in the Pokemon space. We look for raw cards that we can buy, send to PSA, flip for profit. We do all kinds of fun stuff like that. And I always try and share every step of the journey with you. And today is another day. I've got a stack of cards in front of me that I'm going to show you, that I'm about to send off to PSA. I'm going to share with you my thoughts behind them. But I also wanted to give you guys a little peek behind the curtains, right? Like I've shown you how I find and identify cards where I think there might be some potential flip opportunities. But then I also wanted to show you some of the tools that I use in the background as I'm going through this process. So lots of different screens that we're going to be sharing. Bear with me here, but I think I've got everything lined up, and this should be a awesome, awesome, awesome video. So right off the bat, the very first thing that I want to show you guys here is going to be this submission form that I use, okay? So the submission form right here is the one that I actually send to a pre-screener. So I have been doing this a long time, but there is no shame in using a second set of eyes, right? Because the worst thing that can happen is you send a card off to PSA and you need it to get a 9 or a 10, and it comes back an 8 or a 7. Now, I will tell you this, again, it doesn't cost anything at all. I talk about this a lot in one of my videos. So if you need some reference, you can go back and say that. But this does nothing but provide me with additional downside protection, because at the end of the day, if I send it to them and they think, I don't think this is going to get a 9 or a 10, this is probably an 8 or a 7, and they send it back to me, then instead of it being in a 7 or an 8 holder where I've already paid 20 bucks to get it graded, and now I have to try and sell it on the secondary market, probably for a loss, it costs me nothing to have them say that. They send it back to me when my graded cards come back, and I can sell it on eBay or something like that, and I usually end up pretty close to break even versus if I have to incur the cost of having something graded and sent out. So I thought this was really cool just to show you guys exactly what it is. These are the cards that I'm going to be sending out today. Okay, so you see I have to list them all out. The name of the card, the number of the card, the year, the set, the variant, all of that good stuff. I thought that would be really cool to share with you guys so you can kind of see what that looks like. And then when we come over here, I also wanted to show you some of the Excel math that I use. Okay, and this is very raw, this is very granular, this isn't super scientific or anything like that, but I have this built out so when I'm looking at cards and I say, okay, let's say I spend $15 for the card. I use a round number of 20 all the time when it comes to grading fees and shipping, because grading fees are gonna go up, but they're gonna go down. I use a pre-screener, so they're pretty consistent, but then I know what my total cost is. Then what I do is, this is super simple, I multiply it by 2.7. So that is a number that I have found to get me at least in the ballpark of where I need to be. And then I usually sell my cards on eBay. So what you do is you take whatever the potential sale price is, I multiply it by my sales tax, because you pay fees based off of the tax and the shipping. I do free shipping when I do my stuff on eBay. I just feel like it attracts more buyers. So then I get the eBay fee off of that. I use a round number, $4.50 for shipping, the original cost. This is what the net is at the end of all of that, right? So you start with your original cost, which is right here, your potential sale price, this, and then that gives you a profit margin down here of 20%. So let's say if I wanted to buy something for $25, the profit margin goes up a little bit, because remember, your grading fees and shipping is a set cost. Okay, now your fees and everything else is fluctuate up and down, but the lower percentage your grading fees is, the higher percentage your profit is going to be. So for example, if you buy a card for $100, your profit margin goes up because your grading fees remain flat. But anyways, this at least gets me in a ballpark. So if I say, hey, I want to buy a card for $15, then I'm going to look on eBay and say, hey, is there room to sell it for $95? Now, if it's higher than that, great. Then let's say I know that I can at least make my 20%. If it's lower than that, then I have to really do some thinking and figure it out. Again, this is not scientific. This isn't buttoned up. This is just really raw math, really raw numbers that I use to get me in a ballpark of where I am going to be. And now I will share with you guys all of the cards that I am sending through. So if you haven't seen my first video, I use a bunch of different tools. This isn't just me stuffing them in top loaders and sending them off. I use a centering tool over here. I use a clean wipe if I need to in order to get some fingerprints or some schmutz off of it. I use Card Saver 1s. This is the specific card holder that PSA likes. So why rock the boat? Give them exactly what they like. And then I am a big fan of these sleeves. So I'm going to put a link down in the bottom of this video to all of these. That way, if you want to buy them, Fair warning, I don't mind saying it. It is an affiliate link, so if you buy it off of the links, then Pika Pika Papa gets a couple nickels. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. I just want you guys to have the products that are going to give you the best shot at getting the highest grade possible. Because remember, the people who are grading this, they're human beings, just like you and me. So we want to make sure that we do everything that we can so that when they look at our cards, they're in a great mood and they're nice and happy. Okay? All right, so now I will show you some of the cards that I'm sending through to PSA this week. And we can go from there. There's a little story behind all of them. So let's see here. Start off with this, and I'll only do a couple at a time. So the first card here, I have two of these. These are the Charizard UPC promo cards that I'm sending off, and I have already sent off, I think, 12 of these total. The only reason I am sending off more is because I got an amazing deal on 2 sealed packs, and never pass up an amazing deal. So I was able to get 2 more of these sealed packs. I think I paid $30 per pack. We have a small business, so we have a DR13 resale tax certificate. So I don't pay taxes when I buy stuff like this because I'm going to turn around and resell it on eBay. So that helps cut down on cost a little bit. And then these next cards, like, I'm super excited for this. I'm using 2 cameras, so you're gonna look at the side of my face, but you don't care about my face anyways. So now these next 2 cards I am freaking pumped about because this is my first venture into some of the older era. So these are 2 Umbreons from the XY era. These are from 2016. I bought both of them on eBay. I think I paid like 30 bucks each for them, which seemed like a fair price. I think in PSA 8 I can make my money back, so I'm excited about that. If you look at the back here, it looks pretty clean. There's a little bit of schmutz down in this corner right here, which I think is going to prevent it from getting a 9 or a 10. But I've built in cost so that if these get an 8, I think I'm going to end up being okay. But again, it looks super clean. You can see down here, there's a little bit of chipping on this edge. So not all of them are going to be 9s and 10s, and that's okay. But this card, if one of them comes back a 9, I'm way in the money. If both of them come back in an 8, then I am doing well. Now, if you have been watching this channel at all, you know that I have been doing a video on identifying cards to buy and flip, and some of those cards that I identified was the Vaporeon, the Flareon, and the Jolteon premium boxes that have been coming out, just specifically the promo cards that are in there. So I will never tell you to do something that I am not actively doing on my own. I just don't believe in that. And so you will see a couple of these. So I was able to get 3 of these Jolteon VMAX cards, which I'm super excited about. Now you'll see they're in the Card Saver ones. They're in the very special penny sleeve. So these are right as rain. They're going to go to the pre-screener. They're going to take a look at these. If they see something that I missed, they'll call it out to me. And the cool thing is they're actually going to draw directly on this Card Saver one. So they don't just send you back this and say, hey, this one doesn't cut the mustard. They'll circle this edge and say there's corner wear here. They'll circle this over here and say, hey, there's a smudge here. They'll actually put arrows on here and say left to right centering, whatever it is. But these cards actually look pretty good. Now, since I have purchased a bunch of these, I will tell you, it is very common for this one has it right here. Very common for there to be just a little touch of white in that corner. This camera won't focus, but there's a little touch of white in that corner right there. So you have to be acutely aware of that. But remember, when we did the math, as long as we get 9s and 10s, we'll be okay. Obviously, everybody wants 10s. 10s is how we're gonna make our money, but 9s, we're gonna break even. So you gotta take some risk. You gotta send some through, knowing, hey, I might get some 9s, and that's okay. This one, the centering on the back is off a little bit. Now, one thing about PSA, the back centering is less important than the front. But I guarantee you this one might get put out by the pre-screener and just say, hey, that centering is worse than 70-30. I did it on my, the centering tool that I have, and it came back 70-30, so we will have to see what they say. But now we're into these more, the Vaporeon right here. So again, got a bunch of these going out, a bunch of these going out. You know, I love it when people give you all advice on things to do, but they're not actually doing it on their own. So it's hard to trust somebody who's not putting their money where their mouth is. These right here, you've seen me open up a couple of these Pikachu VMAX boxes. These look pretty well centered, actually. You know, there's a little bit of edging issues, but you can see down here, like you look, you can see where the centering's actually pretty good here. I think these will do okay. I have two of them, the Pika Pika Mama and Pika Pika Kids. Opened up one box. I opened up a box too. I did a video on it, and I'll be sharing that relatively soon. This is Leafeon. This came from the same video as that one where I pulled this. So not a huge value card, but you know, I think it's really cool, and if Evolving Skies continues to go up and to the right, then having this in a PSA 10, which it certainly has a shot of, will do very, very, very well. And then I have another raw card that I purchased. This is a Charizard. I'm going to be honest with you. I bought this. The color is super dull. This might be, and I don't know. I'm concerned about the validity of this one. Everything that I've looked at, I mean, it looks pretty on point. You know, you look at the colors, they seem to be the same as the others. But this is the first time I've seen one of these raw. This is before, you know, I started getting into this. This is a 2016, I think. Let's see here. This is a 2014, sorry. So it's a 2014 Charizard. We'll see. But that's the beautiful thing is, if I didn't know any better, I would send this off to PSA, which I don't know any better on this particular card. I'd send it off to PSA, and then if it's a fake, you still have to pay your grading fees, and you're just SOL, right? But since I'm sending it to the pre-screener, if the pre-screener goes, hey man, pump the brakes, this is fake, then I don't pay the grading fees. Like, I can't say, it's just silly. I don't know why people don't do it more often. And then this Mew, I pulled this. I've actually pulled two of these exact cards. I know this isn't the big dollar one out of Crown Zenith, but this one has dead on centering. I think it's a cool card. I think in a PSA 10, it'll do well over time just because, you know, obviously it's a full art, it's a Mew. I just think it's a beautiful card, and I am very happy to have that one sent off for grading. And then my final Crown Zenith, right? The Darkrai. Very excited. I think this is a blazer of a card. It's a top 10 in value for the set overall. And again, getting these Crown Zenith cards graded early is nothing but a good thing because, you know, first to market with PSA 10s always has an opportunity to realize a whole lot of money. So very excited for this. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send these off. I already have one batch that's off. So this is going to be my second batch that's off. And I'm going to start assembling for a third batch because what will happen over time is, and what really makes it exciting for me is when I have multiple batches out, they're all at different stages of PSA, right? So as they start to come in, I add some to my personal collection. I list some on eBay. As they sell on eBay, I use those funds to buy more, and it really is this snowball effect. So as soon as I get to 20, 30 cards, that's when I start sending them through to the pre-screener, and you know, it just starts this flow. I've done it with football cards for a long time, and I'm excited to start the flow with these Pokemon cards. If you saw the sheet earlier where I showed you that, you saw that it had 44 cards listed. Only 22 of those are Pokemon cards, so I've got some football cards that are going out as well. So anyways, it's a lot of fun to do this. There's obviously some risk involved in it. There's risk involved with everything, but I hope you guys find value in this. Again, I'm putting the link to that video right down below. Click on that if you want to see some more in-depth on how I do things, and you guys have an epic one. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.